The most tactical thing that all of you can do is this. You have to have 2 hours at least a week. Let's call it, that's 5% of your time. I think, is that right? 5%? Yes. 2 hours dedicated to learning new random stuff. Building a little custom GPT, taking a demo with some random company, or watching videos. Like, if you want to stay in the forefront, if you want to stay innovative, my friends, you can't outsource this knowledge. All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of The Innovative Seller. I am your host, Jake Dunlap. Hopefully you are following the channel already. If not, make sure that you do that. Today, I'm going to talk about a sales and tech trend that I like to call the potential for the sales apocalypse. I'm going to discuss how continuous learning, leveraging AI, and embracing new technologies are going to be critical to standing out in this crazy crowded world that we live in. I also have a little bit of bonus at the end where we're going to get into some Q&A. So make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and let's get into this week's sales trends. We are getting very close to 2025. The landscape is shifting very fast, and the companies that are going to succeed are the companies that are innovating. I can tell you right now, we see it with a lot of our clients. There's a lot of clients gearing up for 2025, trying to roll back the same old playbook. And so today, I'm going to talk about this concept of core innovations, adjacent innovations, and big transformative innovations. First, let's talk about the biggest piece of the pie. And to me, this is about like 70% of where you should be spending your time in core innovations. Okay, this is about retaining kind of your core business or your core processes that ensure everything runs smoothly. You have to have those core areas. And I like to think of that as like, keeping like oiled engine and making sure that we're looking for small opportunities to improve. These are the things that you already know are working. Maybe you're going to try variation 1B versus 1A, right? And this means kind of regularly assessing what's working and making incremental changes. So again, if you're a rep, think about it, it's like, I'm going to be running the play that I know works with small tweaks. And that's my core. That's what I'm doing 70% of the time. Next up, I want you to think about this idea of adjacent innovations, right? That's maybe 20% of your time, okay? Right, this involves testing out larger new changes. Maybe it's a new way to describe the product. And there's this Harvard Business Review, we'll make sure to link to it, article that suggests that companies should allocate about 20% of their innovation time and budget to this type of innovation. And that might sound like a lot, but I'm telling you, we are in a world that is moving so quickly, right? You have to think of it as like, now I've got 1A, 1B. What if I created version 2B, 2C, 2D? Right? And so for a lot of you, this could be testing new markets, venturing into like a new value prop. It's a moderate risk, right? We're not going crazy here, but it definitely opens the door to fresh opportunities that can pay off big, and you'll start to see if they work or not pretty quickly. Now, last but not least, I call them moonshots in the book, if you haven't read the book, but let's call this the 10% of transformational innovations. So now we're getting to bigger, more high stakes opportunities, right? This is where you're gonna look at your process, make a few bold bets, and maybe create like an entirely new one. I think outbound in particular requires this to win today. Some of these might feel like a leap of faith where, well, Jake, we've been doing this, it's tried and true. But my friends, if you're not taking moonshots, if you're not taking transformational innovations, you're never going to skip ahead, right? You're never going to go from just like, oh, we got from point 3 to point 4, or from whatever to whatever, right? These are the bold moves, my friends, that are going to completely differentiate you from anyone in the business. And the opportunities are there. I'm telling you right now, especially in like outbound, man, it is vanilla land out there. Okay, it is vanilla land in terms of what I'm seeing in the sales process. Everyone asks the same boring questions, same outbound message, etc. Right? One of the stats that I really like here, the team pulled up, is that companies that are harnessing AI for lead generation are experiencing a 50% increase. And again, they're not doing it to automate, but they're trying to transform the account research process. They're trying to transform, like, how can we get really tight in our messaging? If you haven't yet, you should definitely check out our custom GPTs that allow you to just go in and find this really interesting stuff about clients. And it's really, to me, like one of the ways that you can start to test some of these like 20% or 10%. So So really to summarize it, if you want to stand out, you need to be thinking about these different innovation strategies, okay? You need to make sure I've taken care of my core, I've got the machine running, it's running well, I'm looking for those adjacent little bets, my 1Bs, my 2Bs, and then I'm spending 10% of my time trying for those moonshots. That is really what's going to be required to stand out. So my friends, make sure if you found value in today's episode already, I've got a whole tech trend section next. Make sure to like the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And next, my friends, I'm going to jump into some of my favorite tech trends. All right, let's shift gears a little bit here and let's dive into some tech. So today I'm just going to talk about two areas of technology where I'm starting to see some really cool, kind of interesting things. One is around social selling, which is not some like radically new idea, but there's some cool new stuff out there. And then the other is around predictive analytics, which is what everyone thinks of when they think of AI. But check out this report from McKinsey. Okay, they said that businesses that are investing in AI are seeing a sales ROI of 10 to 20%. So my friends, you could just imagine what that means to your top line, right? This isn't just numbers to report. That's potential growth for your team. Again, these aren't BS numbers. These are people that are adopting technology. And I'm going to talk about some of the ways that they're using AI and social selling and predictive analytics. All right, let's talk about social selling. 2019, I started hearing about this thing, right? Which is like, I'm engaging with people. A lot of people are really just selling on social. Let's just call it what it is. They're not actually social, like engaging. And I have to tell you right now, like the people that are winning right now are not just running the same plays, right? Like I talked before, they're running the 10 or 20%. Maybe it's social, right? Maybe they're going all in on social and creating videos. And so this isn't just about your LinkedIn profile. It's about how to use these very specific tools to get up to speed, right? We've got clients, again, they're using like tools like HubSpot, social media management, Lean Data, Sales Navigator, right? And again, I'll get into some very tactical use cases here, but they're really harnessing the power of social to listen and learn, okay? They're engaging with prospects. They've got their team that are listening for what the prospects are posting about, and then they're feeding that back into the sales team. How many of you where your marketing team is actually listening to what people are saying and then feeding that to the sales team so you can go and put out a thoughtful comment? I got to tell you right now, not enough of you, right? So think about social selling 2.0, the ability to monitor at bulk and comment specifically to the individual. Okay, the last little piece I'm going to talk about this is I'm going to talk about direct video and direct voice notes with LinkedIn Sales Navigator. I have been talking about those features, but I'm telling you like 99.9% of sellers are not using them. You know, if you are a first degree connection with someone, okay, so I've already connected with you, and you go to your little mobile app, okay, you pull up your mobile app, you click, you'll see a little plus button there. If you click that plus button, you can send a one-to-one video or you can leave a voice note. Again, a lot of today is about standing out. Okay, you have to be different from the crowd. So send a voice note, you know, send a personalized video. I'm telling you, it stands out. All right, next up, number 2, tech trends, predictive analytics. If I had $1 for every time I've heard the word predictive analytics or insights in the last, I don't know, 4 years, I would have probably like $500, maybe something like that. So a lot of this to me is that, you know, people are talking a lot about intent, and intent is helpful. But for me, a lot of this is understanding my customer segments more effectively. Who really is responding more actively versus gut? Who truly, you know, fits like it's companies this size versus that size? And so for a lot of organizations, I feel like we want to open up the funnel so much that whenever we think about predictive analytics, we are terrified of narrowing the aperture. And again, another application I like around predictive analytics is for current customer, not just top of funnel. I really like what Tatango is doing on the customer success side. Okay, Tatango is using AI to not just look at your typical like login and usage metrics. Again, they're looking at who's the customer, what are they doing, you know, what's their profile, their persona, the company types, etc. And so when I think about predictive analytics in particular, I don't want you to think about boiling the ocean, and I don't want you to think about, you know, trying to overly shrink what you're doing or what you're talking about. But I can tell you this, predictive analytics have an awesome opportunity to help you focus your insights even more and spend your time with the people that matter most. So that's what I got for you. That's tech trends. All right. Think social selling. You might have heard that term for a while, but it's still very real. And think predictive analytics. All right, next up, and this little bonus section I got for you guys, a little in the news section. So my team pulled together some interesting thing, some big news coming out of the tech world, where Microsoft is shaking things up by unveiling 10 new AI agents that are aimed at handling finance, sales, and customer service tasks. This announcement comes hot on the heels of, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, Mark Benioff, who's never been shy of conflict, said Microsoft's AI efforts are disappointing when it came to Copilot. But let me tell you why agents are such a big deal. Again, a lot of you probably already subscribe to our customized agents. Agents are built for very specific use cases. They're not this like broad-based. You know, we've got discovery call prep, annual report analyzer, meeting summarizer. So, you know, go check those out just to educate yourself. But again, McKinsey said AI agent work can cut down administrative work 30%. And this is like the bullshit time that you're spending, right? This is the behind the scenes research type stuff, right? So this is a space, agentics and agents, you need to get up to speed on this space, right? Because remember, for a lot of you, I'm not trying to talk about removing the human from this or having the human not in the loop as a part of the process. Instead, it's the opposite. With a lot of these agents, it's like, can they automate this 30%? And now I'm spending 20% of that time customizing it to making it absolutely amazing. So agentics, my friends, you're going to be hearing about this for a long time. Now's the time to get involved. All right, well, we're about to wrap today up. As with every episode, make sure, if this is your first time checking us out, make sure definitely follow the channel. We release these episodes every 2 weeks. Make sure to like the video, share it with a few of your friends as well too. And now, as always, make sure, send me your questions on LinkedIn, drop them in the comments, and we're gonna get into a little Q&A. Q&A time. So this is where you drop your questions. I do my best to answer them. All right, so somebody dropped, in the pre-show, I mentioned the sales apocalypse, and what does that mean for today's sales professionals? Is Terminator going to come for my account executive job? And the answer is kind of like kinda, meaning I think for a lot of people, if you are not embracing these tools, you're not investing in agents, you're not becoming an expert at leveraging technology to get you to V1, and then you're making things perfect, then yeah, you might need to go look in a different profession, because more and more buyers, they're more educated. They don't have time for it. If you're not adding value to the conversation, why do I want to talk to you? If I can watch a demo online, your competitors are easy to do business with. So to me, the sales apocalypse is for the people that are continuing to do business the way that they did before and not investing in these technologies. And so they're not able to do the same volume or high of quality work as, maybe someone who's not even as talented as they are. All right, I love how I brought back up this last episode, social selling. I feel like that term got beat up pretty bad. But I'm telling you, again, my tactical way is to make sure you're monitoring all of your top prospects. For if you're a rep and you're like, Jake, I can't invest in these tools. A lot of you have Sales Navigator. If not, it's a $55 investment. You might want to do it. Is you can go to your homepage when you save somebody as a lead. Every morning, you can spend 2 minutes and go and click lead shares, leads in the news. And so anytime someone is sharing something, resharing, they get mentioned, then you can you interact with them. But the key is to interact, add value. And so to me, that would be one thing that everybody should be doing every morning. Every morning, log into LinkedIn, look at what's working in terms of what people are posting, and then interact. Oh, salespeople, my friends, you cannot just keep worrying about this month's quota. So I'll tell you kind of a tactical strategy. And I gave you kind of the 70, 20, 10. If you read the book, hopefully a lot of you have already read the book. I introduced a principle called 80, 15, 5, which is pretty similar. The most tactical thing that all of you can do is this. You have to have 2 hours at least a week. Let's call it, that's 5% of your time. I think, is that right? 5%? Yes. 2 hours dedicated to learning new random stuff. Building a little custom GPT, taking a demo with some random company, or watching videos. Like, if you want to stay in the forefront, if you want to stay innovative, my friends, you can't outsource this knowledge. You have to learn it yourself. So again, take that little mindset, that 70, 20, 10 we talked about in the episode, or from the book 80, 15, 5, and make sure you always have time dedicated to upping your game and staying on top of what's possible.